Hi, thanks for joining us again on another episode of Beyond the Chair. My name is Graig Presti, and I'm founder and CEO of Local Search for Dentists, a full-service dental marketing agency. And I'm joined by Dr. Joshua Austin, who is a practicing dentist, editor for Dental Economics magazine, and also a Local Search for Dentists client. So thanks for joining me again. I have a really cool topic we're going to talk about, which I think we need to catch our viewers up on kind of what is happening in the internet marketing space and what is to be considered viable search engine optimization, or as we coin it, SEO, and sort of how things have really evolved from even 10 years ago to now. It's night and day. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, the difference between what that old school methodology was, which used to be, and quite frankly, we still hear it from prospective clients, which is, oh, I had my website designer or my website company build me a website and they're SEOing it. And 9 times out of 10, that means that there's just some phrasing on the website, some keywords here and there, and there's really no technology backing that up. And you know, I think 10 years ago, you would just build that thing and it would just pop right up. Where now Google has gone local, there's a lot more complicated things that need to be in place. So I know you've had an evolution of a website over the years, and I actually really do like your new current design. Full disclosure, we didn't design it, but it's well thought out. So maybe just tell a little story about when you first put your first site up and maybe what worked then and the evolution of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one thing that I notice now, and I can get there, you can read websites and figure out pretty quickly if they sort of have the old SEO algorithm going. And a lot of that's like San Antonio dentist Joshua Austin, who practices in San Antonio, gives dental services to the citizens of San Antonio, and it just uses sort of those same keywords over and over in a very non-conversational manner. And next thing you know, it doesn't sound like text, it sounds like gibberish. Jargon and gibberish, right? And I think old Google, that was fine. And it probably worked well, but Google is constantly in a beta. And so we just don't know really from day to day what Google is gonna change their algorithm to find important. And so that's why I think it's important to team up with an agency who can be more on top of that. Dentists tend to be, by trade, by nature, we tend to like to do things ourselves. It's part of why we like to be dentists, is we like to sit and work on a project and do it and whatnot. But if we're not in that world every day, if we're not working with Google on a daily basis, you know, how can we know what changes from day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year? So I think that's why it's really important to work with a firm on something like SEO, because it is going to be constantly changing for no other reason than because Google is constantly changing.
Agreed. And I think, I don't know the exact number because they don't really disclose it, but around 900 and some change times per year the algorithm changes, which is astronomical. They have MIT PhDs who are genius mathematicians tweaking and moving. We don't know all about every single change, but we do know a lot about most of them and what works and what doesn't. So, because I think a lot of practices still don't have websites, and they still are sort of finding their way if they did, they did build one. And a lot of times you'll go out and you'll hire an agency to build a site, and they'll, like I said, SEO it, which just means they're throwing some keywords on the page, not really doing anything after that. That doesn't really do anything. And I think the doctor kind of feels comfortable that they made a decision that they're now doing something with their website. And you can get complacent with that. Where we know now that the algorithm, SEO is really just in a way, a cliche term that is it's just a tool, right? It's just like Google reviews, it's just like videos, it's just a tool to get you more traffic to an online property to hopefully eventually get some sort of action, which would be someone opting in, emailing you, messaging you, or calling you, and hopefully booking an appointment. Whereas I remember the early days where you could just throw up a website and like a few days you'd be right there on page 1. And that's why the popular dentist searches, if you notice now, Google's not even featuring your website anymore. They're featuring your local listing on Google, showing the maps with the 3-pack.
Right.
And that's where Google understands consumer and user experience. That's what it's all about, is getting the most amount of people to enjoy the process, get viable information. They know that local businesses tend to neglect their websites. Like, that's just the fact of what it is, right? Dentists fall in that category. They know people want to see, well, we want to be able to click to a website, but we want to provide other things, which is, where are you located?
Right.
What are your hours? What other businesses are you around? What are your reviews? So, if you do a simple search for yourself, you'll see that to be true.
Right.
It's to the point now where you don't even need to click through into page 1. I can read a snippet of your reviews just by kind of scrolling on that homepage. So, for us, we look at that, and I'm sure you view it the same way, as your website evolves and you design it to become current with all the Google rules, plus what looks good and operates, making sure it's compliant with all of the standards that are out there, including American with Disabilities Act, and making sure everyone can access your site.